Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Living in the Limelight, an Anton Scholl and Friends podcast where we discuss music from the artist and fan perspective. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. All right, thanks for joining our podcast. This is Living in the Limelight. I am your host, Anton Scholl, and today our guests are Rick Lane from Rock Addicts. And from the perspective of the fan, we have Linda Jensen. Thank you for joining us. All right, so right off the bat, we're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about the different perspectives between the musician and the fan, so we can kind of gain perspectives on both. And then, of course, you can ask any questions that you want in the chat, and we'll try to answer in the comments. We'll try to get back and answer your questions as we go along. So here we go. So thank you guys again for joining me. Appreciate it. I know it's a long way and weather was kind of crazy today, but thank you for joining me. So, Rick, you are a drummer.
Yes, sir.
All right. I want to go over a couple of different things. First, let's talk about your band, just so people can understand the band that you're in. So let's talk about your band and where you play and the kind of music that you play.
Well, Rock Addicts, and right now we're only playing a couple places. On the Green in Mesa, we play House of Bards in Tucson. 70s classic rock and early 80s metal like Motley Crue, hair metal. That's pretty much sums it up.
Yep. And you have different singers that come up and do the show with you?
Yeah, we from the get-go, we always have two singers on purpose. It opens up what we can play, having a variety of singers. Right now we have two singers, and we have some backup people when we need somebody to back up.
Okay.
When somebody's sick or something like that.
Now, Linda, I would say, I'm sure you've seen his show more than once.
More than
once, yes. What do you look for when you go to see him play? Now, let's talk about the first time you ever saw Rick play. What was that like? Why were you there, first of all? At a show, and what was was there something that caught you as the band? We know something caught you about Rick.
Right.
Let's talk about the band. What was it that you said, hey, wait a minute, there's something here?
I go because I want to dance. If you can play something I can dance to, I'm going to go see you.
Okay. And did you hear of this band playing? Where was it, by the way? First time you saw it?
The first time? It was probably either What the Hell or O'Kelly's.
Probably What the Hell, and she didn't even know me then.
Yeah,
right.
Probably.
So you just went there, you used to go there a lot, you would go and see bands play?
Yeah, okay. I would go, I would go for Strangeland. I was a Strangeland girl.
Okay.
So I probably just happened to pop in and, yeah.
And then you saw Rock Addicts, and was there these guys got something? Or
yes.
Was there some kind of a connection?
Yeah.
They're playing the songs you like to dance to.
Right. Motley Crue, Bon Jovi.
Right. And since you're a big fan of Bon Jovi, not in that Bon Jovi tribute band any longer, right?
I was in one of those.
Let's not go there.
Right. So now it's, how many years later now? Since that first show of Rock Addicts, since the last time you saw him, how many years has that been?
I couldn't even tell you. It had to be probably 7 or 8 years because I've known him for 7, and I'm sure I've seen him before, but didn't. Even when I met him, I didn't know he was in Rock Addicts when I met him.
Yeah, she didn't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know me when she first seen Rock Addicts. She didn't know I was in.
Okay.
Yeah.
We met elsewhere.
When you go now, is there a difference between the first time you went there to now, or is it because of their variety of what they play, is it still all fresh and good and stuff that you still love to dance to? And stuff?
Oh, yeah. I still love to dance, but of course now all eyes are on the drummer.
Yeah. And that's good.
Drummers.
Yeah. There you go. Right. And I know that we were talking before about the drummers kind of always in the background of stuff. So you're making sure that he stays up front. You try to get as many pictures as possible.
I tried.
Right. Yeah, because we don't want to block the drummers. That's one thing. Our musicians, us musicians, and I'm a bass player and a singer. get out of the way. All right, when people want to take a picture, move.
Visual.
That's going to be the best thing for you. All right, right. All right. So let's talk about just music in general. With the band Rock Addicts, you say that you play a lot of hair metal or a lot of 80s. A song, is there a song that, first of all, you said that there were songs that you really couldn't play because it's kind of a lot of people don't realize that, but the singer is really what kind of has to pick the songs, because there's a lot of singers out there that can't sing a lot of the stuff. I, for one, I cannot do things like Nickelback or, there's just a lot of songs I can't do. And when a band member wants to play that song because it's a great jam, you don't want to ruin it by having it sung bad,
Correct.
Of course. But you have different singers that now kind of remove that, because if one person can't do it, maybe the other person can.
Opens up the variety of what you can play, yes.
So have there been songs that you were like, Linda goes there to dance, okay? Obviously, you want to make Linda happy, okay? And even before that, you really think about the audience. So the songs that you play, are they played because you want to play them, or are they played because the audience wants to hear them?
Say at least half. We know as a band that got to make the fans happy. You're not there for the musician. I'd say 75-25. We play a lot of stuff because we know you got to pack that dance floor, number one.
Sure.
It's not about the band members picking their own stuff, or you wouldn't get anybody to dance, and then you wouldn't even be able to play.
Right. So now, Linda, what happens when they play a song that you can't dance to or that you don't like? What's your thing? What do you do?
Drink.
Sits down.
Sits down, yeah. Waits for the next one.
There are a lot of people that, that's when they go take their cigarette break.
Go
that's
to the
when
bathroom.
but as a musician, we need to do things for ourselves. Like there's a lot going on. We're sitting there playing a lot of these 4-chord songs, or we're sitting there playing a lot of songs so you guys can dance, which is great. But, let's be honest, we get a little tired of them now and again, right?
Get that rush going, get the fluid going.
Exactly. So make that happen. We got to do something for ourselves every now and again. So if you guys want to take a cigarette break or have a drink at that time, more power to you. So we're okay with that. So now, has there been a song that you just didn't want to play or just don't like to play, but because everybody gets up and dance, you got to do it every single time?
A few.
What are a couple of the covers that you have to do? Do you know?
Me being a hard hitter drummer, I'm into that 80s metal hardness.
Sure.
Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer we played. Packs the dance floor, but I can't stand playing.
Right. But
Def Leppard, Armageddon, we used to play that song.
Okay.
But the women love it. Some guys love them. They're great song. I just don't like it.
Well, okay. From the guy's perspective, the guys don't necessarily like the song. They just want to see the women get up and dance, because they're also there to meet women or to make the person that they're there with happy. So if you're up there dancing, we're happy.
I had someone that once said that. You keep the women on the dance floor and the guys will stay in the bar.
Exactly. So then that, of course, is completely two different perspectives on it, because you love that stuff. You may necessarily not want to play it, but you have to because that's the result that you get from there.
Yep.
Right.
We do know that as a band, though. Everybody in the band knows that.
Sure.
We're not there for ourselves.
And then what do you do to get ready? Describe a day. So that would probably be from the both of your perspectives, because you don't get up and get ready with him and go with him and help him unload and do all that kind of stuff. You don't do any of that. So a lot of people think that when they go and see a show, it's all set up. Everything is there already. Just show up and play. But that's not the case, because people in our position are not, we don't have roadies. We don't have people that set up shows beforehand. So we'll start with you. What is your typical, let's say you're doing a 8 to midnight show.
Well, I got to back up, because if it's a Friday night show, I've already started back on Monday night. I'll practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, at least an hour or two a night to make sure I've got it. And then the night before, I pack my drums. I pack them the night before inside the house. The day of the show, after I'm done working that day, as soon as I'm done working, I immediately go pack them in the truck. Get to the bar about, if we got an 8 o'clock show, I'll get at the bar about 6:15. Set up. You're already getting beat from doing all that. Play, and then after the show's over, you got to pack all that stuff back up and in the truck.
Wait, you're making it sound too easy. You're making it sound way too easy because there's a big gap in between you setting up. Now, you don't play a 3-piece drum set.
Right.
Okay? So, like, describe that drum set and give me a little bit about how long it really takes you to set up and get ready to go.
Setting up takes about depending. I do have a roadie, so if he's not there, it'll take me an hour and 15. If he's with me, we can do it in 35, 40 minutes.
No.
Because he's been doing it for so long with me.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
Actually,
that's good. You have a roadie, yeah.
Threw it with him and showed him several times, so he could set my drums up without me being there.
But he has to wait for you to get there.
No, he drives with me.
Oh, he
drives with me.
Oh,
Usually,
okay.
or meets me at the bar.
So now you just need to get to the point to where he's picking up your drums at your house.
That'd be great.
And he's taking care of it, so you just show up, right? Yeah, you gotta work that delegation. You gotta start getting that going. So now you got your drum set up. What time is it now?
Usually if it's at 8 o'clock show, I'll be set up by 7:30, easy, ready to go.
Okay. And most of us know then at 7:30 you got a show at 8 o'clock, so the singer's not even there yet, right? Right. And I'm a singer, so I know that. All right. And we walk in lugging our microphone and maybe our cool mic stand. All right. And then we're ready to go, and we're gonna be like, wait a minute, why? Where's my spot? I need my spot. So now it's 7:30. You're getting ready to go. He's now been, in a sense, playing since 5 o'clock or whatever, because you're hauling, and you're setting everything up and doing stuff. Now, they have a show at 8 o'clock. So, Linda, what are you doing at that time?
That depends on if it's a close to home show, then I'm probably sometimes pre-gaming with my friends, getting ready to go.
Okay.
But if it's like a show in Tucson, then I'm already there with them.
Oh, okay. So let's just say it's a show by the house.
Okay.
In the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood, and I'm ready. I'm getting ready to go. Probably around 6 o'clock. Probably head out. Try to be there before he plays or right when he starts playing.
Okay. And you stay the whole night?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Okay. Fridays are hard because we're both working. So, sure. And I get it. I get he does a lot more. So it just, and I'm up at 3:30 in the morning on a work day. Have you
ever played Rick's drums?
Oh no.
Is that like not allowed?
No. I have no eye-hand coordination, and I don't want to embarrass myself.
Okay.
No.
So I'm not one of those. That's totally allowed. I let people get up and play.
He's tried to show me, and no.
So here's what you should do. One time, just once, and do it for us. Go on and play the drums for 1 minute. Time 60 seconds. Time 60 seconds, and just go crazy.
Okay.
Just play. Now remember, he's doing it for 4 hours.
Right. No, okay? I totally get that.
And you try that. I've had people do that before, and they
no, I didn't.
Can't even make the 60
I've
seconds.
seen him the next day. I've seen him the next day, so I know
right?
he plays hard. He plays so hard.
Yeah, and I do think that is probably one of the hardest. A lot of people say that playing drums, you're just wailing away, but there's timings involved, and not only that, there's tuning involved, which a lot of people don't realize either, that there's actually tuning of drums involved. And a lot of guitar players will say, well, I mean, come on, you're just banging on the drums. But that definitely is not the case. I personally think that a great drummer is what makes a great rhythm section. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a bass player, but
it's a workout. Every show's a workout, no doubt. Cardio workout, and your whole body feels like
he plays so hard. He really does.
Yeah.
And now you play out about once a month or so?
Yeah.
In that sense? Okay.
Somewhere around there right now, yep.
Right.
Used to play out a lot more, but I put the wabish on that too many times.
But you're also practicing at home a lot.
Yep.
You say for an hour a day?
When there's a show coming up.
And do you practice a little bit before the show? Do you have, what is your...
Day of show, I don't do any practicing.
Nothing.
I'm ready to go before that.
Okay.
I stretch. A lot of stretch.
Yeah, oh, well, yeah, for sure. Now, are you using a double kick?
No, I use a double pedal.
You got a double pedal. Okay.
I have a double kick set.
Mhm.
I haven't used for a long time, but
Well,
just easier to pull the one kick out.
now there's a lot involved, and I don't know, Linda, if you know. To play with your feet. I mean, obviously, is an amazing thing. When you talk about the hi-hat, you have the double pedal. Some people even now have another pedal for the cowbell. Have you seen those yet?
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, hitting different triggers, cowbells, anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking
Right.
about. Yeah.
And I could never get that. Myself, as a musician, I can't play drums to save my life. So I'm always impressed by seeing how a drummer not only maintains the beat, and when they talk about different drummers, in my opinion, I look at drummers like John Bonham, Neil Peart, I look at these people and I'm like, they're phenomenal drummers, but yet, if a drummer can't keep a beat, that to me is really the big deal. I don't care if you're going to solo through every song. You can Keith Moon it on every song as long as you are in time. But there have been drummers out there that are so flashy, that just solo throughout the whole thing. And I think that's the same thing with bass players too. Be good first.
Yep.
And then, you can bring out the flash.
I'm more about that being solid,
Right.
solid straightforwardness.
For sure, right. So, there's been so many bands out there. Linda, when you go and see bands, your favorite band, Collective Soul, I believe, one of your favorite bands. What drew you into a band like that?
I don't know why I really started liking them. Shine came out, and I could listen to the whole album. Most albums
That's
you
key,
listen
right?
to, and I can listen to the whole album, and I think Ed Roman is just an amazing songwriter. He's so different than what you normally hear.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and now for your side of it, is it what band stands out to you when you were younger? What band stood out to you that kind of caught you like Collective Soul caught her?
Yeah, well, when I was younger, it was more about the drummer. I'm more like now with Collective Soul, like I look at that band, great musicians in the band. I like guitar players too, but the songwriting, everything, that's a band that can do it all and they're well-rounded.
Mm.
When I was a kid, I looked at stuff more as a drummer. And, just like the 80s metal, one of my favorite drummers, Frankie Banali from Quiet Riot,
Sure.
because he was a hard hitter, solid in the pocket, boom, just like Bonham. And but now it's a well-rounded band. Collective Soul is great.
Okay, yeah, right. So now, if there was a group that you can form, so we'll go to Linda first. A group that you can form, let's talk, singer, guitar player, bass player, drummer, simple band, of anybody, live or dead, what would be your band to go see?
Singer would be Chris Daughtry. I think his voice gives me chill bumps.
Sure.
Drummer, Shannon Larkin from Godsmack.
Sure.
Bass player, I probably really like Will Turpin from Collective Soul. Guitar player, that one's really tough. Dead or Alive?
Yeah.
Eddie Van Halen.
There you go. Waiting on that one. All right. Now, let's see the difference from
the
now,
musician.
and this is from a musician now. So you're not a musician,
Right.
and you picked some phenomenal players. Now let's hear.
Drums, I like Alex Van Halen, bass, Geddy Lee.
Oh.
Robert Plant on vocals.
Oh yeah.
Guitar, there's so many good guitar players. George Lynch from Dawkins, he's one of my favorite. Warren DeMartini, Rat.
Wow.
That would be quite the different mixture right there.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, I would go see both of those. Both of those bands would definitely be something for me. I would love to see that. Now, if you were going to jam with a band, alive or dead, as a drummer, so you're the drummer, who would your band be?
George Lynch on guitar. He's my favorite guitar player.
Okay.
I always liked Rudy Sarzo on bass.
Oh yeah.
Singing, David Lee Roth.
Oh right.
And
Old David Lee Roth or let me see.
Van Halen, David Lee Roth.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Van Halen era David Lee Roth.
Not his newer stuff. Just
Okay.
Well, he had some good of his own stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Solo stuff. Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, because and I think that's important because there are people that have changed over the years where their styles have completely changed. David Lee Roth being probably one of the bigger ones, where he was always a showman.
Yeah.
Great voice when it came to Van Halen, and really nobody can do that.
Right.
Nobody came out with that, which made him so much different than everybody else. And a lot of people knock that because of what he does now. But styles change. But there was nobody like him in that day.
Right.
There's plenty
That's why
of
he was
great
so good,
singers out there, but he had the showmanship. He was like the quintessential lead singer.
Mm-hmm.
Other lead singers that I really enjoyed that were kind of like that really wowed me. Now I'm a big Led Zeppelin and Rush fan. So of course Robert Plant always did. Robert Plant wasn't flamboyant in any way. I mean, he just looked really cool on stage.
Great
what I mean?
voice.
Yeah, and he had a great voice.
David Lee Roth didn't have that great a voice. He
Yeah.
was just a great showman, know how to
Exactly.
conduct.
Right. But there's so many singers out there that the one that really stood out for me at one point in time was Sebastian Bach.
Yep. Excellent.
That was one, when you look at the songwriting on that, when he came up with just how to sing those songs, if you really think about, can you take a song like Youth Gone Wild or any of the songs off the first album, I Remember You, and give that song to one of your favorite singers? They couldn't pull it off. It would be a totally different song,
Mm-hmm.
which I think would be like really cool to see.
We play that song.
Yes, and it's hard. Believe me, I'm sure that the singers are like, oh man, that last line's coming up. The rest of the song is okay, but that last line when you got to hit that note, and then there's another singer, and I can't even pronounce his name. Okay, but everybody knows him from the singer of Steelheart.
Oh yeah,
So-
great singer.
Yeah. So when they came out with "I'll Never Let You Go," nobody can sing anything like that, and the guy can still do it.
Yeah.
Too, at his age now, he can still do it too. So there's a lot of breakout singers out there that perform, but I was surprised about your guitar player. So when you talk about Dokken, okay, what is it? Because obviously I would be thinking, mainstream. All right, you have Eddie Van Halen out there, you have Jimmy Page, you have any of these great blues players, and you went there. So what was it that really said, I'm putting him above,
Maybe in a drummer guitar. I like guitars too, but when I was younger, I was a lot into the guitar, and it was the '80s metal thing that did it to me. That's why I love Eddie Van Halen, but I like George Lynch was always my favorite guitar player.
Yeah.
Warren DeMartini from Rat was in there too. Eddie's great. It's just that George is my favorite guy. All the blues guys are great. I just don't like that style of stuff as music as well. Is why.
Have you seen George Lynch on
Yes.
his own? He's been playing now. And
Yes.
have you met him?
Several times. Yep.
Oh, you have?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, great. Wow. Yeah, and which is always good because you want to meet your heroes. So I think that's always that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have our band set. We know who we would like to go and see. If you were a musician, because now you've seen a lot of bands, And even like you've been into music for probably since you can remember, right? Before you even had a clue of what musicians were, you listened to music.
Right.
What did you grow up listening to?
Well, I started with country when I was little because my mom and dad, and then my sister got me into rock. She was a Motley Crue fan.
Oh.
So she got me into rock. She had her Nikki Sixx poster hanging on the wall.
Oh.
She liked Nikki Sixx, I liked Vince Neil.
Okay, yeah. So then, what was your first piece of music that you bought? Was it CD? Was it album? And who was it? Do you remember?
It's kind of embarrassing.
Oh.
It was an
Good.
album, and it was Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, okay.
I said it was a little embarrassing.
All right, now that's your question. Now,
What was the first question?
first piece of music that you bought on vinyl or CD or whatever.
It's an easy question. It's hanging on my wall like yours back here.
Oh, okay.
Kiss Alive was the first album I ever bought. I have it on my
Kiss
wall.
Alive.
Kiss Alive.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. But I grew up, Led Zeppelin, more the classic thing.
Mhm.
And that's not the question, but first two drum songs, Riding a Storm Out, REO Speedwagon, Peter Frampton, Show Me the Way. First two songs I ever played on drum, beat the crap out of the headboard on the bed. And mashed it out.
Yep. Now for REO Speedwagon, was it the live album? So it wasn't
Get
the
what
first
you
album.
play for.
Yes, and that's a thing that a lot of people don't realize is that
It's live.
they think it's on that album that's the first time. When Riding a Storm Out was even done before Kevin Cronin even got in the band, right?
Yep, I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So the drumming a little different.
Yep.
But the live version.
Yeah, and the
It's just
second live
phenomenal.
album's even better.
Yeah.
The Decade of Rock and Roll, second one, I love. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So first concert, and I'll start because now that this is such a big thing with you, my first concert was Kiss.
Yeah.
It was in Chicago. It was probably when did Beth come out? Do you know?
Kiss Alive was 75, I believe.
I saw them on that show then when they came out. There was a band opening up for them called the Rockets, which nothing ever happened with them. But it was the first time I ever saw Kiss, and the truth of the matter is, I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan in the sense that I was like, what are they doing? What's with the makeup and what's with all of that? I didn't get it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I wasn't a fan. It was I just didn't get it. And then I went there, and this was in the 70s. Now, I'm in the audience, and they're playing the music, the pre-music, beforehand, right? Whole Lot of Love comes on. And I was just, what is that? I had to, of course, do that. I had to, of course, go in and listen to that and figure out what it was, and then start to buy the album. But Kiss being my first concert, I left there a fan. And I left there with like, wow, the theatrics, the not only that, but the musicianship in general was really good. I mean, the spitting fire, I've never seen, whoever saw anything like that before, And it was just great. The only thing I left there thinking was like, wait, that wasn't a bass solo. When Gene Simmons did his bass solo, I was looking for a bass solo.
Yeah.
So I wasn't a big fan of that part, but breathing fire, the sparks coming out of the guitars,
Yep.
all of the theatrics kind of hooked me, from there. And I've seen them 3 times after that. So very, very
And
good
they got
show.
better as it went along, yeah. More money they made.
Oh, well, yeah.
Up the theatrics.
Yeah. So now, first ever concert?
Mine?
Yeah.
1979 Foreigner Head Games Tour,
Oh,
St. Louis, Missouri. Still have the ticket.
79.
Yep.
I was at a show in Chicago, Comiskey Park, Sox Park. The lineup, this was the lineup. The Walter Egan Band opened. Okay, with Magnet and Steel was their song, right? People threw the grass at them. The grass at them. I felt terrible. But here's why. The next band to come out, relatively unknown, AC/DC with Bon Scott.
Wow.
Okay? Angus Young came out in the audience right next to me, jamming. Oh, it's phenomenal. Unbelievable show. Then came Foreigner. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Foreigner. Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush.
Yep.
Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush came out.
Good band. Good band.
I thought, this guy was possessed by Hendrix. The stuff that he played. Unbelievable guitar player. Then Foreigner. And after that, Aerosmith. Probably one of the greatest lineups, especially, with seeing Bon Scott was just an unbelievable thing. So that was a great show. So your show, Foreigner, you said was your first?
Head Games Tour, yep.
The Head Games Tour, okay.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Now when was that? I don't know I don't know their albums in succession.
Third album.
That was their third. What was their second?
Double Vision.
Double Vision? That was the tour I saw them on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so right. So that was right before that. Wow. Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, that's a good show. Now your first concert.
Poison and Warrant.
Oh.
Yeah. It's probably about 1991. Had to have my brother-in-law drive me there because I couldn't drive yet.
Wow. Those are two bands I've never seen. Poison and Warrant, two bands I've never seen. I can say that throughout my time I've seen a lot of bands. A lot of great ones I missed. Never seen the Rolling Stones, nothing like that. But I've seen a lot of great bands. But those two I've never seen.
We really like Bret Michaels.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Ahead of Poison.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's out here. He lives out. He lives in Arizona.
Mhm.
Love to meet him. Oh,
I would too.
seems
I
like
would
a
too.
great like a
Yeah.
great person.
Yeah.
And he's a really good singer.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have our. Why did you go to your first
I was
concert?
a Poison and Warrant fan. I really
So you
was
were a
my
fan?
first. Yes.
And when
Especially
they came
Poison.
out, you were like, I got to get tickets to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And big question, do you remember how much you paid for that ticket?
I do not. I do not. My brother-in-law might have even bought them for me.
Okay, so now, because this is shocking. You know where I'm getting at now, but your first show then, Foreigner. You remember what you paid for those tickets?
Yep, about $8.
$8.
That's it. That included the fees.
Yeah.
There was no fees.
That was out of pocket.
Yep.
$8
Yep.
to see a show. What is now the last show that you attended? Nickelback?
Nickelback.
And how much were those tickets?
I probably paid $150 something each a ticket.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Jeez.
honestly that's why I'm not Collective Soul's coming, and me and him talked about it, and I just can't see paying. It's ridiculous now.
And 150 is now cheap.
Amazing.
Exactly. And there with them opening, I'm like, do we really want to pay that much just to see them sing 8 songs?
That didn't even get you backstage.
Yeah, that didn't
Right.
include the backstage.
Right. Well, and that's what I think is shocking, is music in general. Music used to be a great outlet, something you can go to. I paid $8.50 to see Rush. I paid $8 to see REO Speedwagon. All of these shows back in the day. I think one of the bigger ones, was when I saw probably like Page and Plant. Those started to get up there, and I thought, wow, that's just crazy. That's so much money. And now, you try to book a show, especially like in Vegas, when you see all these people doing these Vegas tours, you're spending $300-$400. And meet and greets,
Oh gosh.
they want almost $1,000 to go and see. What is your cutoff?
My cutoff, depending on the band, I think the most I've paid was about $400 for a meet and greet, a ticket.
Jeez.
And I got 2 of them. It was well worth it. It was Godsmack, and not only just meeting Godsmack, but they took you backstage. You got to go in the dressing room. So that one was well worth it.
Okay. So now,
he rolls.
that's
his eyes
one
at me.
perspective. Now, from your perspective when it comes to that, is being a musician, being a drummer, if you had the ability to see, a drummer you haven't seen yet, and we're talking about a meet and greet. Let's say it was John Bonham. He was still alive. You had the ability to go backstage. and meet and sit with him, whether it be him, Neil Peart, anyone like that, what would be your number?
I'd probably go up to, and I would have a hard time with it, about $150 on something like that. That'd be it.
And then it would be a no?
That would be it. I don't even if it was Bonham. But $100 is my draw off on tickets right now on concerts. Really, I just look at it, it's like, this is stupid paying this kind of money. It's dumb. When I went from $8 to $11, you can remember.
Yes.
They went up like, jeez, it went up to $11 a ticket.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So obviously, big difference.
The age difference.
Yeah. Big difference between it. But I think it also has to do, too, with being a musician and not being a musician when it comes down to how much you're willing to pay. Because, hey, I can do that. I can play and I can play that. So, yeah, I would think that it's funny how the perspective changes depending on who you are and who you really want to see. And granted, I know that I paid a lot to meet like Geddy Lee when he was doing his book signing. To me, that was probably the best 30 seconds, ever. Right. You walked up to him, he signed your book, you talked to him for a minute, and then that was it. But it's phenomenal to see. Now, would I do it again? Because that is really the other thing. You can pay a certain amount of money one time to get that out. But I think a lot of people, it's not only the musician, but it's everyone else involved who have turned it into a horrible business. That really kind of screws it up for the fan. And that part is what bothers me. I remember an interview where Kurt Cobain was in an interview, and it was on MTV. And they were interviewing Nirvana, and they said something. The interviewer said something like, "So what do you think about tickets now being $20 or $25, something like that?" And Kurt Cobain was like, "What? People are paying $25 to go see a musician? That's ridiculous." And they said it was Madonna, and they're like, "That's nuts. We're charging $8 or whatever, $8 to $12, whatever it is they charge." But they were getting the money because it was the bands who were making the money. That's who got the tickets. Now there's 10 other people involved between the venues. $150 ticket, the band is probably getting very little.
Right.
And honestly, that's what kind of turns musicians, us, off. From doing more. It's because you don't see any of it.
Right.
Look at original music. I have original music out. You make nothing off of it. The best thing somebody can do, like if you're not a musician, do you buy music? Where do you buy music from? Like, are you a Spotify? Do you listen or
iTunes?
So you do Apple. Is that around anymore? iTunes? They're still doing it?
That's where I get mine. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Well, yeah. So there's Apple iTunes, there's Spotify, there's Pandora. Okay. I don't know if you realize it or not, but if somebody listens to those songs, one song, 1,000 times, the musicians will get pennies. And literally, maybe 10 cents off of that. If you buy one of their albums, or a single, let's just say a single, they're 99 cents? Have you ever bought a physical single off of iTunes or a place like that? Okay, you pay 99 cents? The musician in that case gets about 60 cents. So it takes somebody to listen to thousands and thousands of streams of one song for that person to make as much money as if they bought and spent 99 cents on that one single. And that surprises me. I think that's amazing of what a musician actually goes through to get that done. Right. The music, what's involved in creating a song, putting it out there, and then it's just pennies. But Spotify and all those, they're making a fortune off of that. They make a boatload of money off of the musicians. And I think that that's one thing that probably we can understand more so, is that it really hurts as a musician to, because then people don't want to go out and perform original music or do original music because no one's buying it. Right. And you don't get the money for it. So yeah, I could see that. But okay, so now we're getting towards the end here, so you made it through. So congratulations. It was a great conversation. I appreciate that. I'm going to ask you a couple of quick questions, and I know that they're going to be tough. Okay, but answer the best you can. Okay, ready? David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar?
Oh, David Lee Roth.
David Lee Roth. Okay, both on David Lee Roth. Okay.
Sammy's good, but not as good as Dave and Van Halen.
Okay. All right. John Bonham, Keith Moon.
John Bonham.
It doesn't either one.
Keith Moon is a Who.
Okay. From the Who. Okay. Keith Moon is from the Who.
I knew who it was, but
Right.
John Bonham's Led Zeppelin.
Okay. Yes. All right. And let's see. Probably the bands you mentioned two bands, Collective Soul,
Mhm.
and then we were talking earlier about Buck Cherry,
Mhm.
right? Okay.
Are you gonna make me choose between those two?
I'm gonna make you choose between the two. They're both in town.
Oh no.
They're both in town. You can see one of them. Who'd it be?
Oh god, that's hard.
You got her on one, huh?
You did. Does it involve a meet and greet?
Oh, if you pay $1,000.
Well, that's why I like Buck Cherry because they're still very reasonable.
Okay.
I'd probably do Collective Soul.
Collective Soul.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have to do Collective Soul.
Now I would have to give you two bands. And we know your limit's $100. So we're gonna have to think back to what the 90s maybe, when a meet and greet possibly could have been maybe $50, something like that back in the day. But let's take let's do you said hair metal bands.
Yep.
Okay, so let's throw Motley Crue in there.
Yep.
And then let's do early Metallica.
Oh, Motley.
Motley. Oh.
I like Metallica, but nothing. They're not near nothing like Motley. Tommy Lee style drumming is what really got me into that metal scene.
So then, metal now.
80s metal.
80. Okay, right. That's what. Yeah, because a lot of people you think heavy metal and you think 80s, of course. That was like the time. That was the era. And it is kind of funny to go back and look at it now because they call it hair
metal.
Hair metal. And if you go back and look at that style back in the day, some of it's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
But I love watching like old Cinderella.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Cinderella was great.
Great band.
Yeah. And the people that came out of it, of course,
Yep.
obviously great. But now, today, let's think of today. What band do you see, or what band kind of caught your eye today? Has there been any new music, new bands, something that has caught your eye today?
To be honest, not really. I listen still to all the older stuff and don't even pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from being with her and Buck Cherry, I didn't like them that much before, but when I got with her, I started listening to them. Now I got all their discs.
Oh.
So I'm still a CD guy. So
Okay, well, that's good.
that would be one right there that I would have never done.
Yeah. Okay.
She got me into Collective Soul. Excellent band.
Yeah. Yep. What about you? What would any new stuff came out that's excited you, or?
You know, I really actually just, and I couldn't even tell you his name. There was some guy that I just came across on TikTok that was like, wow, and I immediately went to iTunes and I need to let you listen to it and downloaded it because he just was like, wow. But I couldn't even tell you his name right now.
Wow. So I think it's safe to say that there are no bands out there like back in our day. Because a lot of the younger generation doesn't know the bands that we've seen.
Right.
Or hasn't really lived through the times that we lived through. You know, call us old all you want, but I got to tell you,
We had the best music.
I was there to see Rush. I was there, to see a lot of these bands that came out back in the day. One of the bands that came out that used to open up for it seemed like everybody that I saw, the Black Crowes were opening up for them. And I've never heard of the Black Crowes. Turned out to be a great band,
Mm-hmm.
but we got to see that. 38 Special, another great band.
So. Excellent.
REO Speedwagon, all of these bands, Black Sabbath, I saw.
Many of good ones.
Yeah, and a great show was Scorpions and Iron Maiden.
Yep.
Scorpions, Iron Maiden, great show. Bands like that. There's a lot of people out there now that can say they never saw that, they never experienced that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something I would never give up.
It's wild today, a band like Iron Maiden, she went with me to Iron, she actually took me to Iron Maiden, even though she's not into Iron Maiden. Oh. They're one of the bands got their own crowd. Packed where the Suns play, packed it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a few of those bands still left that can do that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, last question I'm going to ask, and then we're going to get going. Any bands out there that you will not go see now because they've lost a lot of original members?
Me first?
Yep.
Yeah. Right, came to mind right off the bat, Motley Crue, because they lost Mick Mars, guitar player. They're not Motley no more.
True. Okay.
Yeah.
Linda, any band?
I probably still gonna say Motley Crue. Yeah. None of my bands yet. No.
Oh, okay.
Even Buck Cherry's got only 2 of the originals, but no.
But you still go see them?
Oh, as long as Josh Todd's in that band.
Okay. So Josh is the one.
Josh.
Yeah. Because there have been a lot of bands who have changed lead singers.
Yeah. Oh, if Collective Soul didn't have Ed Roland.
Yeah, they'd be done.
Okay, then so it is a lot of the singers right. You and look at what happened with some of these bands. I think that Van Halen may have been really the only band who has ever switched lead singers and actually became either more popular or as popular
sold more
as what they were before. Yeah. Yeah, which to me, when you look at other bands like Journey, Judas Priest, these were all bands, and even the one with Sebastian Bach, the one I was talking about before, that Skid Row, it's not the same. It's a cover band to me.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So
I agree on that 100%. All right. The Motley thing, though, you got your bigger bands like that. They just need to be all original. I agree. I even thought on Kiss it should have been, when they didn't have Peter and Ace.
Well, I think that, Gene Simmons wanted it to be, do you ever hear of the group Menudo?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's a band who never has any original members. They just change out every couple of years because it's a band who plays the songs over and over again. Everybody knows Menudo, but they don't know the members, because they keep changing out. And originally, Gene Simmons had said that's what he would want to do. He'd want Kiss. Somebody else can get up there in the makeup because the persona is there. Yeah. But to me, that definitely wouldn't be the same. Yeah. I mean, seeing the original Kiss was the original Kiss, and they're calling it quits, and they're ending it, which to me, I think is the best thing you can do. So that's great. So I appreciate you guys joining me.
Thank you.
It was a great time and great meeting both of you, and hopefully we can do this again.
It's great meeting you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for joining us, and keep a look at the podcast for Living in the Limelight, and we will get together with more guests soon, so listen to us weekly and follow and share the podcast. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining our Living in the Limelight podcast with your host, Anton Scholl. Please feel free to comment, follow, share, and subscribe, and also add us to your playlist on your favorite streaming sites. Thanks again for joining, and we'll talk to you again next week.